It's different. I get it. Same old Lions. I don't think any of us are thinking same old Lions, but I get the nervousness, right? Like when everything is coming out, the Lions are projected, depending on where you see it, 9 or 9.5 wins. Um, Everybody's nervous. Everybody is nervous. And it's like, wow, they're saying we're going to be good. They're saying we're going to be either the fourth or the fifth best team in the NFC, which is not phenomenal, but it's good, right? And everybody in the national media is saying we're good. We have draft where we have the fourth most draft capital based on a point system going into the draft. Yet we already seem to have a team that's ready to compete. Like it's different, but I understand the hangover from years past. I understand that. And here's why I'm here in this video to simply say, calm down. It's different. And you hear people from everywhere else that aren't Lions fans talking about how good the Lions are. We're just not believing it because we've seen it go poorly before. So let's talk in this video about why it is different. For starters, this is the simplest point. They're making the right moves. How many times did you, I'm going to ask, I'm talking to you specifically. You know who you are. How many times did you say, man, I wish they would go out and get player X? And then they went and got player X. I remember early in free agency when it wasn't Williams, like in the first 12 hours, like, man, I wonder if they'll go after Montgomery. Boom, they sign him. When we lose DJ Chark, it's, I wonder if we're going to go get Marvin Jones again. Boom, they signed him. When we know Vaitai has a bad back and we don't have a lot of good depth in the guard, it's like, is this a good time for a reunion with Graham Glasgow? Boom, they signed him. The one defensive back that everybody wanted, CJ Gardner-Johnson, they signed him and for $8 million. And then they go get somewhere you're just like, man, you hadn't looked into it a ton because I didn't watch a lot of Steelers football this year, but all of a sudden you realize, man, Cam Sutton's really good. And I completely forgot about Mosley because he tore his ACL and he wasn't able to play after 5 games. But in those 5 games, he was one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Dude was heading for a payday. And now he gets to head for a payday while playing for us. So that's different. All right, number 2. They're a complete team going into the draft. When was the last time you didn't know exactly what position the Lions should draft going into the NFL draft? You could make an argument that defensive tackle is it this year, but not clear cut. So, like, everybody, we're good. So, you have to get a defensive tackle, but it can be more of a depth situational piece. It doesn't have to come in and be a starter. You'd like it to be, but it doesn't have to be. When was the last time you had a Lions team that wasn't drafting for starter? Last year going into the draft, we were like, there's 6 positions that need another starter. And it proved to be true just on the defensive alone. There are games where we were starting 5, 6, 7 rookies or second-year players. Like, it was absolutely nuts. Reason number 3, they're handling success completely different. They're not shying away from it. They're not just saying, well, we were the underdog last year and now we're favored, but it doesn't mean we just got to keep getting better every day. And no, they're saying, yeah, we're in position. We are better positioned to swing with the big boys. Dan Campbell is saying the roster is better. That means you should be better than 9-8, right? Brad Holmes is saying we're there. We're ready. They're talking about how happy they are with their quarterback. They're talking about how happy they are with their team. They're talking about swinging with the big boys. They're talking about winning the division. Nobody's ever done that before. Caldwell never said that. After he made the playoffs, he never talked about winning the division. No way. They're handling success different. They're not afraid to say the term Super Bowl. They'll talk about it. It's okay. They're not afraid to talk about the Packers. They're not afraid to talk about the division. All right. I don't know what I'm on. I think I'm on 4 now. All right. They are making smart moves in all phases of the game. All phases of the game. Before we could say, oh, those are some good players, but you always wondered if Martin Mayhew would be any good because he was coming out of the Millen regime and you didn't know exactly where he was going, who he was going to draft. And you're like, but they started over with the front office. They went to a place where there was success and he's proven to be good and they've given him full control. It hasn't been an owner being like, no, we need to draft this guy. No, I like this guy. It's different. It's different. I got another difference here. This isn't part of what I was going to say with all the smart moves in the right phases, but let's go back to when we're drafting Ndamukong Suh and Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford and Nick Fairley and all these great players without a salary cap for rookies. So we're paying Matt Stafford like a top 5 quarterback in the league the second we draft him. It just makes it so hard. Well, we don't have that anymore. That's the beauty of a rebuild in the NFL now. It can happen faster because you have capped salary caps or contracts for rookies. It's phenomenal. So they make the right moves in the front office. Little things like replacing the turf with a more friendly turf that's proven not to cause as many injuries. It's huge. It's expensive and huge. It's exactly what they should do. They've improved their training staff. They've gone out and gotten a new person to run a physical therapy department. They've gotten a new trainer to to run the new athletic training. That was an area in which they were graded poorly, and we're now starting to find out, peel the curtain back a little bit. Lions didn't do a very good job. They didn't do a very good job last year with training going into the year. The grades were low. Okay, and it showed. The last 2 years, they've been hurt like crazy. So they've made the changes. They're seeing it. They're not just stuck in their way. Oh, this guy's been here for a while. We're just going to keep him here. We're going to keep him here because it's a trainer. All trainers are trainers. No, they're not. They're not. Detroit Pistons should get into the playbook here of the Lions. All right. Because I would like the young players to be healthy next year. Okay, Tom Gores, please. All right. Sorry. That's just me getting upset for my other Detroit team. That's all right, though. What about the coaching staff? They're bringing in great coaches that other people want. They're bringing in coaches that are taking running backs coach position that are getting offensive coordinator interviews with the week that they take ours because they're just good coaches. They're bringing in like-minded coaches. They're bringing in former players. They have a method to their madness, and they're sticking to it. And then finally, the players are hitting. They're hitting more than they're not. And I can't remember a regime where more players hit than didn't. When you go back and you look at the Lions rosters, when you look at drafts, they'd be lucky if they hit on 2 or 3 of 7 picks. Brad Holmes, 4 or 5. It's a big deal. It's a big deal when you can hit on players and you end up getting another 2 starters out of each draft. It's huge. So the Detroit Lions, time is now. And I think this is the first time last year we kept saying, what if? Like, what if? And then they started terribly. And then what if happened? They got good. Well, this year it's not what if, it should be. And the team has no problem talking about it. And I think everybody's on the same page. You have coaches coming back to finish what they started. Ben Johnson doesn't think it's the same old Lions. He's been here for a minute. He doesn't think it's the same old Lions. He sees a change, enough of a change that he's willing to say, I'm not going to become a head coach right now. I'm not going to become a head coach right now. I'm going to run it back with this team, knowing all the risks, knowing that I might never get a head coaching opportunity again if it all goes kerplut. Kerploop. I don't know what to crap. Okay. This is great. There are a lot of good things happening, and the bad things, if you can find them, it's just like, did they overpay for Alex Anzalone? Maybe. I don't know. But then they go and 3, 4 guys just take less money, and all of a sudden you're, oh, okay, never mind. Never mind. Oh, feels good, doesn't it? Let's just embrace it. Let's just be excited for the next 5 months before we get training camp and all that kind of stuff. Let's just be excited together. Detroit Lions, time is now. Believe it. It's not the same old Lions. See you on the next one. Comment. You agree? Do you? Hit the subscribe to. Why not? Go for it. Do it. See ya.